CNN dramatic video showing a North Korean soldier fleeing across the border into South Korea while being shot at by his former comrades was released by the United Nations Command Wednesday. The video's release marks the first time the American-led UN command has disclosed security footage of a defection across the heavily fortified demilitarized zone, DMZ, that divides North and South Korea, said Ha Kong-song, a public affairs officer for U.S. Forces Korea. By firing across the DMZ at the defector, North Korean soldiers violated the Korean War armistice, said the UN command, which oversees the 64-year-old ceasefire agreement. One North Korean soldier also crossed the military demarcation line, MDL, another violation of the armistice that paused the Korean War in 1953, said Colonel Chad Carroll, U.S. Forces Korea Public Affairs Director. A peace treaty formally ending the war has never been signed. Carroll said that the UN command had notified the North Korean People's Army of the violations via regular communication channels and requested a meeting to discuss the results of the UN investigation into the incident as well as measures to prevent future such violations. The armistice agreement was challenged, but it remains in place, General Vincent K. Brooks, the American who leads the UN command. The 24-year-old soldier, surnamed O, has regained consciousness and is undergoing further treatment, the hospital treating him said Wednesday. He's been listening to South Korean and Western music and watching television. O, whose rank has not been revealed, is the third member of the North Korean armed forces to defect this year. UN Forces Korea said North Korea has violated the armistice several times, but Korean authorities put that number higher. According to a document from the South Korean Joint Chiefs of Staff, North Korea has been accused of defying the armistice thousands of times since 1953, though not all the violations are nearly as dramatic as a shootout caught on camera. The security footage released by the UN command begins at 3:11 p.m. local time on November 13, with a wide shot of a military vehicle speeding down a tree-lined street on the North Korean side of the DMZ. What appears to be a soldier exits the building as the vehicle rushes past. Moments later, the vehicle crosses a bridge. It then approaches a monument to North Korea's founding father, Kim Il-sung, the starting point for North Korean tours of the joint security area. Carroll said there were no tour groups on either side of the DMZ when the defection occurred. The driver turns right at the monument, just steps away from South Korea. It's still 3:13 p.m. under the cover of trees, the vehicle appears to stop. At 3:14 p.m., North Korean soldiers run toward the vehicle from an adjacent guard tower and from the steps at Panmunjak, the main building on the North Korean side of the JSA. The video then shows the defecting soldier getting out from the driver's side of the vehicle and starting to run. Four North Korean soldiers appear in frame near the vehicle. One falls to the ground, though it's unclear why. Another appears to fire his gun. At 3:43 p.m., Colonel Carroll says the video shows the defecting soldier lying against a retaining wall in a pile of leaves on the South Korean side of the DMZ. It's another 12-minute jump to the following clip. It shows heat signatures of the wounded defector and 3 soldiers who are tasked with recovering him. More forces were in the area, Carroll said, but only 3 went to his immediate vicinity. 2 people, non-commissioned officers according to Carroll, crawl on the ground and make their way to the injured North Korean while another, who Carroll says is the South Korean JSA Deputy Battalion Commander, stands guard. More than 40 bullets were fired at him, from pistols and an AK-47, South Korea's military said last week. South Korean troops did not return fire. O underwent multiple surgeries and lost more than 50% of his blood by the time he arrived by air at Jeju University Hospital, his surgeon Lee Kuk-jong said in a separate news conference Wednesday. Lee said it was difficult to tell exactly how many times he was shot. 4 major wounds were found, but he could have been shot twice in the same location. At one point, doctors considered amputating his left arm due to nerve damage. His intestines and motor functions are also permanently damaged. Though he stabilized Sunday afternoon after his breathing tube was removed, Oh was still in considerable pain, Lee said. "It's only in the movies where a patient would gain consciousness right after a surgery and walk away. It's not like that in reality," said Lee. Oh was also found to have dozens of parasites, some as long as 27 centimeters, in his ruptured intestines, which may be reflective of poor nutrition and health in North Korea's military. When speaking to reporters, Lee said he felt Oh had come to South Korea of his own free will.
Recently, much attention has been focused on the state of the U.S. military's arsenal of small arms. After the announcement and subsequent cancellation, 3 of the U.S. Army's 7.62 Interim Combat Service Rifle project, many were left wondering what the U.S. Army's actual plan was for a future service rifle. One possible answer was demonstrated at the USA 2017 by Textron: the use of cased telescoped ammunition, CTA, technology in small arms. Unlike the use of CTA in vehicular autocannons, CTA in small arms is a rather recent development. While some early cartridge designs could technically be considered CTA, one example is the 7.62 x 38 mmR ammunition used in the Russian M1895 revolver. These early designs did not have many benefits that modern CTA technology provides. During the Cold War, small arms development mostly focused on caseless ammunition. This led eventually to the H&K G11, a rifle that used caseless telescoped ammunition. 4. The G11 participated in the U.S. Army's Advanced Combat Rifle program and was accepted into service in the Bundeswehr. However, the G11 fell victim to budget cuts following the reunification of Germany, and not many military attempts to pursue caseless ammunition have happened since. Recommended: Why North Korea's Air Force is total junk. 5. Enter the Lightweight Small Arms Technologies (LSAT) program. At first, LSAT was simply an attempt to design lighter-weight small arms. Eventually, due to conflicts with the XM8 program, 6, the LSAT program's scope was limited to light machine guns. While LSAT briefly attempted to use caseless technology to achieve this goal, they eventually settled on the use of CTA. The LSAT program, which focused on 5.567, then became the Cased Telescoped Small Arms Systems (CTSS) program in 2016. This also expanded the scope of the project to include other calibers. Currently, the CTSS program, run by Textron, has successfully produced a line of polymer-cased and linked CTA, along with a series of belt-fed machine guns and magazine-fed carbines that fire this ammunition. The ammunition is at Technology Readiness Level 7, which means it has undergone various environmental durability and endurance tests. Recommended: Why doesn't America kill Kim Jong-un? 8. So what benefits does CTA have in small arms? The primary selling point for CTSS CTA is, true to its name, a 41% weight reduction and 12% volume reduction 9, compared to conventional ammunition. The CTSS machine gun design itself also weighs less, with the 7.62 mm variant weighing in at 14.5 pounds, compared to 21.8 pounds for the M240L. 10. The Army's current lighter-weight 7.62 machine gun, and 18.1 pounds for the PKP Pekingeg. 11. The Russian military's current 7.62 machine gun. The LMG also has reduced risk of cook-off, due to the chamber being separated from the barrel. 12. In addition, the CTSS CTA rounds use compacted propellant, which has better burn characteristics and takes up less case volume compared to traditional loose propellant. Other CTA rounds, including those used in the CT-40, are known to use loose propellant. The round design also incorporates an end cap that forces the round into alignment with the barrel. This mitigates the possible problem of the round anviling into the barrel and rifling, and causing excess barrel wear. Another theoretical advantage for polymer CTA ammunition is reduced round cost, due to the smaller amounts of material and energy required to create each round. However, this has yet to be seen, due to economies of scale. The CTA round and LMG design have proven versatile, with 5.56mm and 7.62mm versions of the CTS machine guns and CTA being produced and tested. CTA has also been produced in a new 6.5 caliber, which is purported to have superior ballistics to current calibers. Recommended: the F-22 is getting a new job, Sniper 13. The primary problem that is preventing widespread adoption of CTS small arms technology is one of systemic inertia. Given how hard it is for the U.S. military to standardize on a single rifle magazine, 14, the prospect of switching over to entirely new guns, ammunition links and ammunition is incredibly daunting. This is an upfront cost that the U.S. military is unlikely to be willing to pay at this moment, for the limited gains CTS technology provides. CTS technology also breaks the rules about how one can traditionally think about small arms. Early versions of the CTS carbine that fed from a magazine couldn't be reloaded until the magazine was empty. 12. Indeed, the optimal feeding configuration for any CTS weapon is belt feeding. However, the idea of issuing every soldier a belt-fed rifle is a hard pill to swallow for some who assume belt-fed weapons will always take more time to reload than magazine-fed weapons. CTS also is not fully mature in its carbine versions, which still weigh more than the current standard issue M4 carbine. Overall, CTA in small arms is a promising technology that could significantly reduce the weight that a soldier carries into battle, while also providing other minor benefits. However, it's unclear whether this is enough of an improvement for the U.S. military to adopt it. This story was originally published by the National Interest. The author would like to thank Nathaniel F. at thefirearmblog.com, 15, for the informative series of interviews with Kari Phillips. Charlie J. Au studied political and computer science at Grinnell College and is a frequent commentator on defense and national security issues.